Welcome to Killer Queen TV. Before we get into this video, please don't forget to like, share and most importantly subscribe to be notified of my future videos. I do top 10s, tribute videos and fact videos, so remember to hit the subscribe button to be notified of my future uploads. Now, let's get on with this video.
There are plenty of incredible Stephen King novels and stories, to the point that people had difficulty believing that one person could write so much. The mysterious, fascinating, and enormously attractive, King's work welcomed us in his creative multiverse and a hell of well-built characters. Thanks to the quality of his stories, a dozen movies and TV shows were filmed. So check our top 10 best Stephen King adaptations, as we believe you'll love them. This TV show takes us to a fictional town, Chester's Mill, where a transparent and indestructible dome descends on it out of nowhere. Immediately after the unexplained phenomenon occurred, the media arrived outside the dome. However, they were joined by the government and military forces, coming to the rescue while trying to destroy the dome. Distracted by worries and helplessness, and on the other hand, full of strength and desire to get out of there, the captured inhabitants try to cope with the new situation. Personal fears and mutual tension only worsen the situation as everyone is trying to understand the mystery of the dome and what to do to make it disappear. The show has 3 seasons, and according to viewers, Season 1 is mysterious, Season 2 confusing, while Season 3 is branded plain strange. How would you describe it? Although this work already had its film adaptation in the 1990s, we must admit that a remake of a more recent date left a much stronger impression. If you are afraid of clowns, then we're sure that this movie certainly made an impact on you. In the summer of 1989, a seemingly dancing clown, Pennywise, utilizes its victims' fears to undercover itself, to exterminate a shape-shifting monster in the small town of Derry, Maine. The bullied kids team up. This movie brings an exciting adventure while delivering tons of frights. Still, this isn't the example of a horror that people are making out to be. The Dead Zone is another shiny star in the sky of King's stunning works. The movie is categorized as sci-fi/thriller as it follows the story of a man who awakes from a coma, only to discover his psychic ability. Interestingly, King wrote the script for the movie, but it was eventually rejected. The phrase dead zone refers to the main protagonist's part of the brain destroyed beyond repair. This results in unsighted spots existing in his precognitive visions and means that the future is not established and can be modified. At first, witnessing the future seems like a blessing, but it ends up causing trouble. If you are a passionate fan of Stephen King, the name of the fictional town Castle Rock is undoubtedly very familiar to you. This is as The Dark Half and Needful Things. The Body, and multiple short stories like Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption include individual connections to Castle Rock. Therefore, Hulu Network decided to make its vision of that famous location into a TV show. The whole intertwining of characters from his novels is well composed here as Castle Rock gathers King's favorite characters and their fascinating stories. Also, there's a constant fight between darkness and light. The interesting fact is that King always puts his protagonists in fictional towns, but the state remains the same. Yes, you've guessed that right, we are talking about Maine. This story here initially seems like a regular thriller, however, fans who first read the book and then started watching the show know that a mysterious mix of events is yet to come. The story begins when the body of the murdered Frankie Peterson, an 11-year-old boy, is found. Shortly after, suspect Terry Maitland, Little League coach, was arrested in front of everyone, and charged with the young boy's murder and rape. Initially, all the evidence and testimonies indicated that he was the perpetrator of this horrible crime. Nonetheless, it was difficult for investigator Ralph Anderson, Ben Mendelsohn, to figure out what was going on. But when a shapeshifter from darkness steps in and starts to reveal himself, it makes investigators question everything they believe. Also, they began to think if the killer may be a supernatural creature. Unfortunately, HBO cancelled the series after a single season.
Thank you for watching Killer Queen TV this far. I hope you have enjoyed what you've seen so far. To be notified of my future videos, Please remember to subscribe to my channel where you will be notified of all future videos that I'll be uploading. Now, let's get on with the rest of this video.
King's brilliant mind honored us with an incredible story about a psychopathic killer who calls himself Mr. Mercedes. This is a perfectly intertwined blend of madness and mystery as Harry Treadaway faithfully portrayed the manic killer. One of the protagonists, psychopath Brady, begins his murderous mission by driving a stolen Mercedes into a crowd, killing 16 people at a local job fair. When a retired cop, Lil Hodges, Brendan Gleeson, decides to go after him, the whole thing takes a new turn. Mr. Mercedes starts to provoke Detective Bill and haunt him before entering his mind, which drives Bill crazy. This is quite dark stuff. Sliding through this list, we're again visiting the famous fictional town of Castle Rock in Maine. The plot takes place during one hot summer back in 1959 and follows the story of 4 young boys who learn about another boy's dead body. Shortly after, they decided to set off to the woods to see it. This movie is a family classic, and many people watch it with teary eyes. Through these boys' stories, King perfectly described the meaning of friendship and, following their adventures, the constant urge to stand up for what is correct. Brilliant piece of work, indeed. We think that there's not even one fan of the horror genre that didn't watch the incredible Stanley Kubrick's The Shining movie. The main character is Jack Torrance, Jack Nicholson, an ambitious writer and recovering alcoholic. He accepts a caretaker's job during the winter season at the isolated hotel in the Colorado Rockies. His wife and psycho son, who claim to have abilities allowing him to see into the unusual hotel's terrible history, accompany him. Watching this masterpiece isn't possible without the constant feeling of fear as Nicholson goes over the top. You need to be ready because you'll expect a new wave of shock at any moment. As for this movie, King said that this is his favorite adaptation from his books as it realistically captured the story of death row guards back in the 1930s. Once they find out that one convicted murderer has a unique supernatural ability to heal people, that forces them into tough choices, readers praised the movie, claiming that the book received the adaptation it deserved. Details are finely blended, with only minor changes, as every single fragment of this piece is brilliant. Fantastic acting and the extraordinary story evoke strong feelings here. Such a great movie, don't you think? Hope is the key ingredient of this piece of King's art. The story follows Andy Dufresne, Tim Robbins, unfairly convicted of murdering his wife and her lover. We follow his journey sympathetically while he's trying to get used to the new situation, and how he acts under it. What creates the biggest impression is his friendship with the great Morgan Freeman, as Ellis Boyd Red Redding. Beneath his familiar harsh voice lurks deep remorse for the crime that brought him to the Shawshank jailhouse. This realistic drama will make you think about life, true friendship, and that there's always a tiny particle of light.